Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Factorio. And when we last left off, we had just started automating all of these red science packs, and research is going well. But it's now getting to a stage where we are going to start needing green science packs, and those are a little bit more difficult to automate. But first things first, we're going to need this assembling machine, so that's automation 2, and it's going to use 40 science packs. So let's get on with that one, because it doesn't need the green ones yet, but we do need to start preparing for the green science packs. That's what I've got all of this area down here for, which is going to take some time to really get going. So let's get on with it. So, for the green science packs, the first thing we're going to need is something that makes inserters and transport belts. And of course, if you are playing Factorio, it's something you're going to know about as well. It's a matter of really working backwards every time you do something. So, let's have a look at transport belts. That's going to require iron plates. Specifically, an iron plate and an iron gear wheel. And if we look at the inserters, that's going to require the same things, but it's also got an electronic circuit that it requires. So either way, we're going to need something that makes iron gear wheels. So let's start off with a simple assembler, and let's start getting some of this, siphoned off from here. At least prepare for it anyway, because that is the main source of our belts and plates and stuff. So that's going to require a splitter of some kind. Now, I do prefer using splitters rather than anything else, simply because we can then divide up the resources a little bit more evenly. Of course, it does get a little bit more complicated towards the end. Alright, so nice even split of materials there. Nothing really to complain about. We are having a bit of shortage of the copper coming in, and that's something that's going to need to be fixed. After all, the copper is really very, very far away. So we might even need to increase our production at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Alright, first things first, I'll put down this assembling machine, and this is the one that's going to be making iron gear wheels, so you can see right here. We could also siphon off the one from here, but I'd rather not touch that one, and just kind of make our own materials over here. So this is going to be a little bit tricky, because I'm going to need both sides at work here. And that's going to output in a very complicated way, I feel. Mainly because it's just so difficult to really get these in a neat way. I know some people have done them before, but I don't really... I've not really worked out a way for myself that I particularly like. So that's always the tricky one. In fact, I think I might actually switch this one around. This over here is going to have to make the circuits, and that's going to require copper cable. So instead, we're going to switch that over to making copper cable first, and then put another one down that'll make the circuits. So that there can make circuits, and then we'll simply need to move the cables across. Nothing really to worry about over there. And another assembling machine going, and that one's going to make our transport belts. So simply set that up to make transport belts, and that's going to take the iron plates and the iron gear wheels. So overall, still looking quite simple for now, but it's going to get more complicated very quickly. Something that I will demonstrate very, very shortly. So I'm going to grab some more materials off the belt here. I'm going to make another assembling machine. And this is where things are going to get a little bit tricky, because we're going to need to combine the outputs from both sides into the same belt. So that can go quite nicely next to it, because this is going to make iron gear wheels, and then we're going to need to combine both of those into another assembler. So if you're not lost already, then you'll kind of see where I'm going with this. All of these are unpowered for now, because of course we don't need them running yet. So that is not a mistake, that is intended. I'm going to put that there. And now we're going to make a bunch of inserters. Now we do have the new assembling machine, which I don't know if we actually need yet. I don't think we're actually going to need that yet. But I've just noticed a problem, because this also requires some of the main parts. Yeah, it is actually going to require iron plates itself, so that's going to be a little bit tricky there. Definitely a little bit tricky. So, and I've just noticed as well, it's also going to require the upgraded assembling machine, which we have just finished making, or researching. So, let's get that going. And I think what we could do here is extend this belt outwards. So that allows us to pick up items off that belt there. And then we put this assembling machine. Actually, no, we should use the upgraded one, because these do take quite a long time to make. So that should go somewhere there. And that's looking alright, actually. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So let's get on and making the inserters now. This should be set to make inserters, yes. In fact, I might actually move that along just a little bit. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to keep it as it is. See, I was thinking of putting a gap there, but in hindsight, it doesn't really make much sense. Okay, so we're going to need a lot of inserters. So let's quickly grab all of this. I'm going to make a lot of inserters. So let's start off with one here, and let's just go ahead and make a bunch of these. So overall the plan is, as such, that's going to go to there, and that will end up going to there. Now, this one on this side is kind of the same deal, mostly, with a couple of slight differences. So that's going to go there as well. Now I'm going to need a couple more transport belts. I'm going to use a fast inserter for this. So the fast inserter is basically because the outputs from these come out very quickly and we need the belt to clear. So that's going to go there, and this will hopefully help to slow it down just ever so slightly. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but it allows us to only use materials when it's actually required. Okay, so now the tricky part. Gonna need a little bit more materials here. Let's just get that, the rest of the belt there. So that's mostly done now, and now we can just move this along up to here, and have an inserter carry that away like so. And then of course the output will be out there onto the main belt that we have here. So that's the gist of it, and that's as compact as I can make it. Of course, there's probably a better way of doing this, but I generally prefer this sort of design that I have here. And hopefully that works out. Alright, so everything's powered up and ready to go, and you can see the circuits and cogs going away there. Might actually make one slight adjustment to this, so that it doesn't get too full too quickly, and that is simply to have a inserter here, which means I'm going to have to move that along just a little bit to make sure that it packs away, and that's just to stop the belt from getting a little bit too full. Because of course inserters are not very smart, they can only pick the things that are closest to them, and since circuits, of course, and gear wheels don't produce at the same rate, that's going to cause some very, very big traffic problems for us. So, yeah, that's kind of how things get along. And I've just realized one thing I've forgotten to do, set this to actually make science packs. So there we go, now that's currently being produced there. And we've also forgotten one more thing, which is to give this the actual plates that it needs in order to produce anything. So that's going to go there, I guess I can spare one more electric pole here. I really do need to get the medium electric poles as quickly as we can, but that's not really happened so far, so, yeah. That's a thing that we need to do. Now, of course, the problem with this design is it isn't expandable. And that is actually a problem. It's just something that can't really be expanded easily. And that's a huge problem. But one thing that is an advantage of this position of it overall is that the red and the green will always be on opposite sides. So that at least stops it from getting a little bit too crowded on there. Of course, once it merges into the same lane again, then of course, yeah, it becomes a problem. But at least there will always be greens available. Let's start some research up and let's see what we can do. So we're going to need logistics, I think. There are a couple of other things that we could research. I think steel processing being one of them. Let's get rid of some of those red science packs and do that. And let the greens sort of fill up anyway. I think it's actually going to put them in if it actually needs it. So, for now, it's actually not going to be used up much at all. It's a bit of a shame, but that's kind of how it is. Now, I'm noticing the electrical demand is starting to drop, so we may need to upgrade our power plant. So that's what we're going to be really doing. We've got our greens going now, and let's go and have a look at our power. Alright, so there's the power plant here. We've got 2 engines available at the moment. And I think we're probably going to need to expand that somewhat. So I'm going to quickly grab some resources. Let's grab all of that. There we go. And let's look at expanding this one. So we can put a couple of steam engines down. Alright, that research is actually just finished. As I was saying that. So, could go with advanced material processing for now. And let's get a couple of steam engines out. So, of course, we're going to need to heat the water up a little bit more just to accommodate these. So, what I'm thinking of doing is kind of going a little bit against what we were talking about at the very beginning of the series with this, So you can see the water temperature is starting to drop, so we're going to need more boilers. And the design initially was supposed to be something like that, but of course there's no water on the other side, so what we're actually going to have to do is, I believe, pump additional water into it, and then boil that up as well. So I think we're going to do that. Alright, so that's done now. We have 2 additional boilers there, and it looks like our electrical demand is as we need it. So, yeah, that's pretty much sorted that out. So, not really much else to do for this episode, really. We've got the greens going now. We've got things in the works. And we're going to be moving on to bigger and better things very, very soon. So, of course, there's going to be oil processing as well. That's something we need to look into. And engines probably going to be somewhere later on down the lines once we actually look into starting to do railways and the like. But this one that I do want to do is the electrical energy distribution, just so that we get those medium electric poles. They're really, really useful. Lab efficiency probably will come later on as well. So I'm going to end this one here. Just a very quick update on what's going on in Factorio at the moment. And we've now achieved the next step of automation with our research. And hopefully things go according to plan. We are going to need to do something about our materials very soon, but for now, I'm going to leave that there. So thank you very much for watching. If you're enjoying the series, don't forget to leave a like and comment down below if you have any questions about the game, or if you just want to let me know that you are enjoying the series, don't forget to tell me in the comments below, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.